Just when you think that the left-wing nuts can't get any nuttier, they prove you wrong. Case in point, voila.
Really can't make this stuff up sometimes. And look, we may never know why Donald Trump suddenly spent a week hiding entirely from the American public, but you don't actually need baseless online conspiracies to explain why he might not want to show his face in public right now.
Joining us now is host of the Tudor Dixon podcast, Tudor Dixon herself, and syndicated columnist Josh Hammer. Good to see you both. Tudor, you know, this isn't gaslighting. This is just plain idiocy. I mean, the fact is, last week we had a 3+ hour cabinet meeting with the press there asking questions galore, and that was only one of several meetings he had with the press. She said he hasn't been seen in a week. I mean, there's no excuse for this.
Well, to be fair to Jen Psaki, the last time she was actually in the White House, that's her only memory, is that you hide the president. You can't let people know who he really is, because obviously that's what they were doing with Joe Biden. But give me a break. I mean, this reeks of hypocrisy. It reeks of desperation from the Democrat Party. And I think it also reeks of martini lunches, because she starts slurring at the end of this monologue. I think that it's a total mess for Jen Psaki.
They can't hear themselves, Josh, can they? Is this some sort of like politically based deafness that they can't hear themselves talk? And I'll just quote President Trump, who sleeps on the beach?
Yeah, Dagan, I think they're literally just out of talking points at this point. I mean, you know, there's an old lawyer expression that if you're in a courtroom and if the facts are not on your side, you argue the law. If the law is on your side, you argue the facts, and if neither the facts nor the law are on your side, you just pound the table as hard as you can. And the Democrats, I think at this point, are and they're talking head apologists on cable news. I mean, they're essentially at the pounding the table stage of the argument right now. They've got nothing. They've got absolutely nothing. They're trying to distract, I think, from their own internecine conflicts. I mean, you know, there's a lot of focus on the Republican Party. Is it divided? Is it not divided there? The Democratic Party is facing some very serious divides right now. I mean, with Zohran Mamdani in New York City, Omar Fateh in Minneapolis there, the moderates trying to have their kind of last stand there. So I think that this effort to try to project and redirect onto Trump and Republicans is just kind of very shoddy, kind of limp effort to try to distract from their own problems. But as Tudor accurately said, I mean, this is just so laughably hypocritical. I mean, what do you even say about it?
They always accuse the other side of doing what they're doing.
Right.
Repeatedly.
But Tudor, it's not just the Democrats. It's the entire woke culture. And we saw examples of go woke, go broke before with Bud Light and, of course, with Cracker Barrel. But there is a wonderful counterexample making the same point that go woke, go broke. And that's the good side of this. The Eagle stock, the American Eagle stock, has soared 20% because of the Sweeney campaign. It's noted that it's the best campaign they've had to date. It may be as much as 25% when the stock finishes tomorrow, and that would add up to $590 million in market cap. So there is a lot that is working against the woke crowd right now.
Absolutely. This is no surprise to, it's no surprise to anyone, because I remember the Calvin Klein ads when I was young, and Calvin Klein jeans were flying off the shelves. The fact of the matter is that attractive people sell products, and American Eagle simply did that. And then you had this campaign against them from that woke left that said, oh, this means that. And these sales just prove that those voices may be loud, but they aren't actually how the American people feel. And the last time I was at the mall with my girls, which was just 2 weeks ago, we went into American Eagle and we were shoulder to shoulder with other people because everybody was going in there to get their jeans. Right. The ad worked. It wasn't what the woke left said it was, and they didn't end up winning the talking points of the day.
Josh, real quick, we're talking about after hours trading. So the results were reported after the close. So the stock in post market after hours is up 25%. That's what David was talking about. Final word.
Yeah, look, I mean, what a powerful juxtaposition with Cracker Barrel. I mean, Cracker Barrel's stock utterly plummets after they essentially flipped two middle fingers at their own customer base there. Amazing stuff there, but kudos to American Eagle for a very well executed ad campaign there. This one clearly has paid off quite well.
It sure has.
Right.
It's like a second Christmas for them.
Make Cracker Barrel a verb. Like the Democrats are going to Cracker Barrel your town.
I love it.